Book 9, Letter 18 of Pliny. To Statius Sabinus, Salve, greetings. The intention which, in this studio, that's the Zealand enthusiasm, which you read, and in short, it's in your memory, the way you remember and read my book, it ostendets, it shows, what shows? Your letter shows, your epistula. Ipsi, yourself, therefore, Igator, you exhibit or produce this business, this work, for yourself, which you elicit and invite as, so you lure it out and you invite it, that quem plurima, as much as possible that I should want with you to communicate or to share. So therefore, you're the reason behind this business, which you're asking from me to communicate or share with you very much a lot of work or something. Faciam. I'll do it, nevertheless through parts or in bits, and as if digesta. That's there's a digestum, which is a set of laws. That can also mean in order. This looks in separated bits. Probably means lest its memory itself is stem ipsam memoria. I shall give thanks, cui, to you for this memory. Sigivate means continuously, and copia means a lot of. Turbam, onoratum, that's another burdensome word. As if I am forcing an oppression, and now I've got, so he's going to send it, and he doesn't want to confuse the single bits with many, and he doesn't want to destroy the prior bits by the bits that are sent posterior, so later. So he's, what he says in this bit, he's going to do it, he's going to send it, but in little bits, to which he's giving thanks for this, but he doesn't want to destroy the memory of it by constant and copious confusions and burdenings of confusing all the pieces up into little bits. As we saw, these are compared. And then he ends the letter. Letter 19, Pliny to Rousseau. Rousseauni in the dative. Salve, you signify you signify that you have read legissi in a certain letter that, here we go, accusative speech, Virginius Rufus had ordered to be inscribed in sepulchro sua on his tomb. This. Here situs es Rufus. Here sits Rufus, or here he lies, who once upon a time, quondam, pulsoed Vindice. He defeated some guy called Vindex, and he asserted imperium, which is power not for himself but for his patria, for his fatherland. Okay, it's a nice little thing to be written on a tomb. Reprehendus quod usurit. So you reprehend what he ordered or you disapprove of, and you add even, it is better and rectius and righter that Frontinus, that he vetoed altogether there to be made for himself a monument. That's just something that goes in your tomb. And me, in the extreme, or finally, you're consoling or you're asking my sentiment concerning utraque, either of these two men, which would be Rufus and Frontinus, I'm guessing. Part 2. Utrum qui delexi. I delighted in both of them, or I love both of them. And I am amazed more at him whom you reprehend. So he's more impressed by the guy that he doesn't like. And thus so, miratus. It's another thing to be amazed at, that I do not think there's satisfyingly any amount of laudations or praise that can there be. He doesn't ever think that he can have too much praise for him. Of whom now, for me, must be subiounded, must be undergone defence. So now he's going to defend his friend that he loved. 3. Omnes, everyone, ego, I. So I'm thinking that everyone who has feceronted, who has done something great, magnum aliquid, and memorable, not only non modo, a pardon, but even with praise. Okay, so it's everyone who is very worthy, or dignissimos. I judge that not only should they be given a pardon, but if immortality which they've merrowayed, which they've earned, if they want this to be followed up, and it should live on, Victori, the fame of his name, etiam, with supremist title. So this is the last things written on his tomb. That would be his supreme title. So if he wants his name to keep living, he should strive to prorogate this. That's to prolong his the fame of his name. He should do it in these inscriptions. 4. Nec facli. Not easily there's anyone, quem, except for Virginium in Venio, I find, of who such veracundia, modesty, in predicando, usually means speaking in advance, of how much glory ex facto. So it's not easy to find someone who is so extending in modesty of speaking about his glories, basically. From the guy who's actually done the glories himself, so he's speaking about himself. 5. Sum ipsi. Me, myself, I'm a testis. I'm a witness. I had familiarity from him, and he was dialectus. I was loved and approved, probatus by him. And once, altogether, with me in listening range or hearing, was provectum, something was brought forwards. He referred one thing, this, from all of his rebuses, from all the things he'd done, and thus it was with him, aliquando sometime, Cluvius had locutum. Cluvius had spoken this thing with Pliny listening. Skis. You know, vocative, that histories ought to be fides, trustworthy. So therefore then, proendi, si quid, if there's something in my histories, that legis, you read, other than what you want, I ask or beg your ignoscas. I beg that you pardon me. Here's one of the things where ac means then, when it's with alita ac, it means other than. Ad hoc illi. To this he said, here's a question too, are you ignorant, Cluvius, that for this reason me to have done quod feci what I did, so that there could be liberum, freedom to you, to scribere, to write the things which livisset, which he wants to. There's a freedom for a person to write what he wants. 6. Agedum. Come now. Hunc ipsum frontinum. This guy fronted us himself in this itself, in which for you he seems more parcial, he seems more sparing and precious and restrained. Let's compare him to the other guy, I suppose. He vetoed to be extrude, to be built any monument, but with what words? Quibus verbis. This is what he said, it's quoted. The expanse of a monument is supervacua. It's superfluous or something. A waste, maybe. Memoria nostrae jurabit. Here he's emphatically using himself as a we. The memory of me will endure if my life has deserved it, meroimus, or should it be more restricted, arbitrus, do you think? More tightened or restricted through the orb of the world, through the whole world, legendum, to be read, to be given to his memory, to endure, that in one place, to signify in that one place with a couple of little verses, what quod feceris, what you've done. So it's by your thinking, more restricted thinking, that his name will live on through the world, his memory, in this little one place where he's buried, if he writes in a couple of verses all the things he'd done. 7. Quamquam. Although I did not have a proposition, it's like a purpose, of reprehending illum, and we've got correlatives, illum and hunc. So this illum would be the guy he's talking about, but hunc, the former guy he was talking about, he wants to defend, to oversee that the first guy was defended well. Cuius quae potes, of which there is able with you to be a more justy defence. You can think of someone better defences, but what's better than who you have preferred or brought forwards, him whom you have preferred to have a collation with him or a comparison with him. So Pliny's just going with the guy who was offered to be compared with. Nearly done. A collatio, placing, putting together, combination. Data collation, it's also used for payment of tribute, if you can rely on this. It's the ablative form. Okay, indeed, in my judicio, in my judgment, neither is of blame or at fault, of whom either of them, with an equal cupidato, with an equal desire for glory, but they contended with diverse itineraries by different roads. One, while he sought to have the titles he was owed or he ought to have, and the other, well, he preferred to be seen to spurn these kind of titles. Vale. Goodbye.